reading of Chapter 20 King James Version audiobook. Sponsored by Lunsford's Daily Sunday School. Created and produced by W. Matthew Harris Productions. With side notes and easy to understand. Abimelech takes Sarah. Verse 1. Abraham traveled away from the big trees at Mamre. He went towards the region that is called the Negeb. He lived between Kadesh and Shur. And for a time he stayed in Gerar. Verse 2. And Abraham said to the inhabitants of Gerar, Sarah is my sister. But Sarah was his wife. Now Abimelech was the king of Gerar. Abimelech sent men, and they brought Sarah to Abimelech. Verse 3. But God came to Abimelech in a dream at night. And God said to Abimelech, You will die because you have taken this woman. She is a man's wife. Verse 4. But Abimelech had not touched her. So Abimelech said, Surely, Lord, you would not kill an innocent person. Verse 5. Abraham himself said to me, She is my sister. And she herself said, He is my brother. My heart was honest and my actions were innocent. Verse 6. Then God said to Abimelech in the dream, Yes. I know that your heart was innocent when you did this. I prevented you so that you did not do the wrong thing. Therefore, I did not let you touch her. Verse 7. Now give Abraham's wife back to him. He is a man who knows God. So he will pray for you and you shall live. But if you do not give her back to him, you shall certainly die. You shall die and all your family shall die. Verse 8. So Abimelech got up early in the morning. He called all his servants, and he told them all these things. The servants were very much afraid. Verse 9. Then Abimelech called Abraham. He said to him, You have done a wrong thing to us. You have made me and my nation guilty. We did not deserve that. You have done to me things that nobody ought to do. Verse 10. And Abimelech said to Abraham, What were your reasons? Why did you do this thing? Verse 11. Abraham replied, I said to myself, The people in this place do not respect God. They will kill me because of my wife. Verse 12. And she is truly my sister. She is my father's daughter, but she is not my mother's daughter. And she became my wife. Verse 13. When God made me leave my father's house, I spoke to her. I said, Please do this thing for me. Say about me, He is my brother. Say this at every place that we come to. Verse 14. Then Abimelech took sheep and cows. He took male and female slaves. He gave them to Abraham. Also, he gave back to Abraham Sarah, who was his wife. Verse 15. And Abimelech said, Look! My land is in front of you. Live wherever you choose. Verse 16. Abimelech said to Sarah, I have given 1,000 coins of silver to your brother. This gift shows that you are innocent. It shows this to all the people who are with you. It shows it to everybody. Verse 17, 18. The Lord had made all the women who were in Abimelech's house unable to produce children. He did this because of Sarah, who was Abraham's wife. So Abraham prayed to God and God cursed Abimelech. He also cured Abimelech's wife and his female slaves, so that they could produce children. Side notes. Verse 1. The Negeb is the southern part of the country that is called Canaan. Kadesh and Shur are in the Negeb. Gerar is at the northern edge of the Negeb. The people that lived in Gerar were Philistines. Verses 2-3. When Abraham went to Egypt, he said that Sarah was his sister. See Genesis chapter 12 verses 11-13 in the comment. At that time, Abraham was called Abram and his wife Sarah was called Sarai. When Abraham went to Gerar, he said the same thing. On both occasions, it was a foolish and wrong thing. Abraham was not confident that God would protect him. But God did protect Abraham. And later, Abraham learned to trust God completely. Abimelech means my father is king. Every Philistine king was called Abimelech. It was not one king's name. Verse 11. Abraham knew that Gerar's inhabitants did not know God. So he expected that they would be wicked. But he discovered that they were honest and honorable. Verse 12. The Bible has not told us before this verse who Sarah's mother and father were. But this verse shows that Sarah's father was Terah. See Genesis chapter 11 verses 26 and 29. Easy to understand. Chapter 20 verse 1. And Abraham went on his way from there to the land of the south, and was living between Kadesh and Shur, in Gerar. Chapter 20 verse 2. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. Chapter 20 verse 3. But God came to Abimelech in a dream in the night, and said to him, Truly you are a dead man, because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife. Chapter 20 verse 4. Now Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, will you put to death an upright nation? Chapter 20 verse 5. Did he not say to me himself, She is my sister? And she herself said, He is my brother. With an upright heart and clean hands have I done this. Chapter 20 verse 6. And God said to him in the dream, I see that you have done this with an upright heart. And I have kept you from sinning against me. For this reason, I did not let you come near her. Chapter 20 verse 7. So now, give the man back his wife, for he is a prophet, and let him say a prayer for you, so your life may be safe. But if you do not give her back, be certain that death will come to you and all your house. Chapter 20 verse 8. So Abimelech got up early in the morning and sent for all his servants and gave them the word of these things. And they were full of fear. Chapter 20 verse 9. Then Abimelech sent for Abraham, and said, What have you done to us? What wrong have I done you that you have put on me and on my kingdom so great a sin? You have done to me things which are not to be done. Chapter 20 verse 10. And Abimelech said to Abraham, Why did you do this thing? Chapter 20 verse 11. And Abraham said, Because it seemed to me that there was no fear of God in this place, and that they might put me to death because of my wife. Chapter 20 verse 12. And, in fact, she is my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. Chapter 20 verse 13. And when God sent me wandering from my father's house, I said to her, Let this be the sign of your love for me. Wherever we go, say of me, He is my brother. Chapter 20 verse 14. Then Abimelech gave Abraham sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave him back his wife Sarah. Chapter 20 verse 15. And Abimelech said, See, all my land is before you. Take whatever place seems good to you. Chapter 20 verse 16. And he said to Sarah, See, I have given to your brother 1,000 bits of silver so that your wrong may be put right. Now your honor is clear in the eyes of all. Chapter 20 verse 17. Then Abraham made prayer to God, and God made Abimelech well again, and his wife and his women servants, so that they had children. Chapter 20 verse 18. For the Lord had kept all the women of the house of Abimelech from having children, because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Thank you kindly for watching this video. Please visit our other videos.